today?
It's going so good. How are you doing, Les?
I'm good, blessed. Stay
Living
blessed.
the dream. Living the dream. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed Les. Okay.
There you go. Maybe that should be my new handle instead of balance less.
I don't know.
Bless less.
I'm like a balance Les.
Thank you.
So what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about the fitness industry, which I think could be just a really cool conversation. I think you have had a really incredible career in fitness and have a really unique perspective. And I would just love to learn more about how the fitness industry has changed in your time working with it and where you would like to see it go.
Well, damn. That is a big topic. It's interesting. So I never really have felt like, and continue not to feel like I actually belong in the fitness industry. I feel like an outsider, almost in some sense, consuming the industry like everyone else. I mean, from the moment that I was a trainer, I felt so different, and believed so differently about what I was doing than those that were around me and those that I looked up to. And so I think for me, I'm just now starting to realize that, and not just now, with the past several years, really realizing that if you want to create change, change happens from within. And so stepping inside of that and really recognizing that I do belong inside this industry and that I am a piece and a part of this industry. And that if I want to create change, as with anything and everything in life, you don't just talk shit from the outside, but you get in and you start to create that change. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm really stepping into that now, and I'm excited for what can happen. And I believe that this industry needs to change. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious, why do you feel like an outsider in the fitness industry? Why do you feel like that?
I think I always just feel like an outsider in general, so maybe that's my own personal issue.
Like such an Aquarius statement. Oh my God.
I still feel like I belong. The truth of the matter is, going in, so I never envisioned I was going to become a trainer, right? So it's not ever like, that was never really my thing. And so as I fell in love with what it meant to get people moving, I really had a desire to help people understand how incredible their bodies were. And I had a desire not to co-sign the fact that movement was this negative thing, and to co-sign as a trainer that like, yeah, come in. Yeah, you do need to lose 20 pounds. Yeah. Like, let's do these so you can get a bigger butt. Like all that shit that we hear, and that is a big piece of the industry. That wasn't me. Yeah. And so, and especially where I started in a big box gym, like they pushed that on me. I'm 21 or 22 years old. Like, I'm impressionable. I'm trying to do what, my managers and bosses want me to do. But at the end of the day, like, they just really want to make money. They don't care about the individuals and the human beings. And what I learned, and what was a rude awakening, is in this entire industry just wants to make money. They don't really care about what is going on and the actual health of that human being. Like, it's crazy to think that the fitness industry, the health and wellness industry, generally speaking, not always, is one of the most unhealthy industries.
Totally. Where people can be unhealthy by consuming too much of it, but also where the people working within it are some of the unhealthiest.
Absolutely. Some of the unhealthiest by far and away. And we're pushing a message that's unhealthy. And I think that's my thing, from the beginning, was I don't believe in that. I'm not going to sell that. I know that that's where the money comes from. I mean, I'll sit in meetings all the time, and not anymore because people really know me, but it's like so many times people are pushing so much money at you to be able to sell, like, let's sell the booty workout, or let's sell the how to get a body like this. And I'm like, there's just so much money in there. And I just think it's such dirty money, because at the end of the day, the industry is really harping on and feeding on people's insecurities, like people's lowest lows, and, the deepest, darkest ways that they feel about themselves. We take that and we exploit that. And I have such an issue with that, and something that I feel, for so long that I didn't want to be a part of. But now that I'm recognizing I am a part of it, I absolutely am a part. And that in order to create the change, like, I need to know that I belong here and that I'm in it, and that, that's where the change is going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the most impactful change always comes from the inside, right? Where things are truly happening. I think sometimes trying to change things from the outside is like you're moving against you're moving against the flow of it.
No, and I also feel like I've never been the person that feels like that you can sit outside of something and tell people what to do or just shit on something. Like I've always been the person, more so than anything, of just trying to lead by example then. And that if you live your life and you do your things and it resonates with the right people and it speaks to the right people, then they'll, be empowered by that. And I feel that about the industry. One of the things, we're just get real about social media. One of the things, when I realized that I wanted to get the world to move, and I realized that I was going to need a platform to do that because, I can't train millions of people in person. When I started to be on social media, the thing I said to myself, because very quickly it turned into, she's the girl that smiles and does crazy workouts, right? And it worked for me though, because it was still encouraging movement. And I still felt like that is who I am and that's what I'm doing. But I had a conversation with myself going on like 3 years ago that was like, when you get to a certain point and your platform is at a certain level where there's corporations and people listening to you, I made a little promise to myself that at that point in time, I wouldn't stop what I was doing, but I wouldn't highlight that as much. And I'd start getting really real about the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's really fascinating. We've talked about this, but I have an injury right now. And one of the main things I know this injury is telling me is you told me that when you got to this point, you would do the thing that you're not doing right now. And, it's taken me 4 months with this industry I keep saying injury to listen to her and what she's wanting me to do. And I've known it all along, but I think at this point in time, I have that platform and now I need to use it in the right way.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So what does using it the right way look like to you?
I mean, speaking my truth and not going along and not being afraid. I mean, I think the thing is like fear drives a lot of what we do. And in an industry that is, $1 trillion industry. There's so much money here. And, and it's a male dominant industry and, being a female in general was something, to say that kind of goes against the grain. Like, I'm not going to lie. There's a little bit of fear that goes, with that. And what are people going to say and how are people going to disagree? But you just get to the point in life where you realize that if it's honestly your truth, like if it's really what you believe in, and if it's really the thing that, down deep you have to do, then it doesn't matter what anybody thinks or says. And I think it's taken me a long time to get to the point to feel, fearless in my mission, what I'm doing and what I believe in. And just like, I've been saying now recently, trying to remind myself, just unapologetically be who I am and create the change that, I've been wanting to see from day one when I stepped into this industry 13 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So since you've started working in fitness, I mean, you just said you've been in the industry for 13 years. Have you seen it change or evolve in ways maybe positive or negative? How is it different now than it was when you started?
I mean, I've seen it evolve in superficial ways, which people are like, oh, we've come so far. We accept all body types, this and that, whatever. No, you make money off of all body types right now. That's why you're doing this. And I think at the end of the day, and we've said this before, I'm sick of talking about bodies in general. I think that this industry makes so much money by telling people that they need to change the way that they look without caring about how they actually feel and their actual health. And I think that if the health and wellness industry was going to evolve and change, we would actually be concerned with people's health. And I think that that's the thing that doesn't sell. Like 100%. That's the thing that doesn't make money right now. That's not that, hook and bait, let's lose 10 pounds in 10 days type shit that makes them trillions of dollars. So I think right now it's just, from the outside, it's changed a little bit and quote unquote, gotten a little bit more, acceptable about where people are at, but not in reality. No, now we're making even more money off of it, and not that making money is like the negative thing, but what I'm saying is they're just, for me at this point in time, they're exploiting anything that they think is,
Totally.
you know, the thing that's going to work right now.
Yeah.
And the accepting of all bodies is, to me, just a fucking Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Because I think that there's not necessarily a lot of conversation that truly is accepting of all bodies. We talk about different sizes, right? Or if you have someone has a different size body or whatever, we don't really talk about ability. We don't talk about ableism.
No.
We don't talk about movement if you are chronically ill, movement if you are disabled, like all of those things,
No.
where if inclusion of all bodies were really a part of the conversation, that would be happening a lot
Amen.
more.
No, amen. And I think at the end of the day, absolutely, we do not do that. And I could be a part of the problem as well, because I think I need to, you know, just continuously do what I set out to do, was to create movements and, you know, programs for every single body. And so I appreciate you saying that. But I think also at the end of the day, I think that movement and the health and wellness fitness industry in general should be about empowering individuals. And I don't think that we're an empowering industry in any way, shape, or form. I think that I can't say in any way, shape, or form, because there are definitely, you know, more people moving, more studios up. There's a lot more that's happening, but I don't really think from the base of where we're coming from, I don't necessarily think as a whole that it's the best place. I don't think it's the place to say, like, you know, at the end of the day, we're really here to help you become your happiest, you know, healthiest self. And I think that's the thing that really is kind of, to me, like, of the biggest concern right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't remember where I read this, but I read an article not too long ago, maybe a few months ago, and it was about kind of the millennial generation, where we are very into boutique fitness and wellness and supplements and smoothies and whatever, yet we're still not that healthy because we're so stressed out.
Yeah, it's such a joke. It's a Band-Aid right now.
But it's, yeah, like in a lot of ways, the wellness industry is not actually addressing what the biggest threats to our health truly are.
Why would they? They're not going to make money off of that.
Totally.
It's exactly
Yeah,
the
totally.
thing. And it's like crazy. I say this all the time, but it's like, I think at the end of the day, the simple things that you can do in life are the healthy things,
Yeah.
not whether or not you took your green shot that day, you bought all your, you know, organic groceries, you went to your, you know, soul side. Like, those are not the things. That's just become a piece of the culture that makes you feel like you're doing, you know, the right thing and the healthy thing, which there's a little bit of that, which is, you know, fine, and take part in it. But at the end of the day, really, honestly, the simple things of health are being able to take care of your body and do what it needs to do at any given point in time because you're connected to that. And that means, you know, I'm talking about get enough sleep, get enough hydration, you know, basically like figure out the ways that you can de-stress yourself and your life. And that's what like health is really about. And I think that, I don't know if the industry is ever going to change, because I don't know how they're going to try and capitalize on that and make money, you know, to realize that they're not going to make money on that. I don't think that change is going to happen. But I think what we can do is have more and more people within the industry, you know, speaking out about things so that those that are consumers of the industry and want to start shifting their direction and going, you know, a different way, have other people, you know, that they can, you know, look to guide that way.
Yeah. I'm actually really glad that you said that, because I feel like consumers have so much power. Honestly, I think consumers have all the power.
All the power.
We just
Power's
don't
in the
know.
people.
We
Yeah.
just are kind of brainwashed into thinking it's the other way around.
Yeah. No, people always have the power.
Yeah.
In all situations.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. And I think that that's the thing right now. I guess my thing is that whoever it speaks to, it's supposed to speak to. But at this point in time, even if my message and my story speaks to one person, then it's on me to be able to just be loudly encouraging that one person to switch directions. And I think that there are so many people right now that are sick of the image of health and what they think that they're supposed to be doing and are ready for a change. I feel like we're on the brink of that. I don't think the change is going to come from the industry recognizing that and want to create a change. But I really honestly think that it's from the people, you know, demanding that. And that, I mean, that's where the power is, and that's where the change is going to happen.
Yeah. And do you think that social media has helped that cause? Do you think it's hurt it? Do you think it's been a combination of both?
I mean, I think it's 100% been a combination of both. We always, at any point in time, you can talk about the negatives or the positives of social media in general. But I think that one of the most powerful things in social media is that it's given voices to those that would never have them. And I think that they're voices that are not propelled and fueled by big corporations and money. And so I think that there's a lot of power in that. I mean, I wouldn't be here if there wasn't social media, being able to speak my message. And so I always come from the sense of, and the perspective that you can always find the negative and stuff, but you can always find the positive as well. And I think that, like I always say, we definitely need to be watching what we're consuming. So unfollowing and curating your own account so that you're feeling like everything that you're consuming is something that's positive for you or you're learning. But yeah, I think social media has, in some sense, this sounds really harsh when I say this, but in some sense has turned the fitness industry into the porn industry. And when I say that, people are always like, I mean, that like really offends people, but in the sense that we have completely sexualized fitness because it's eye candy and it's what sells if you get things at certain angles. And I think for me, like that's extremely hard to watch and sad to feel like I'm a part of. I don't feel like I'm a part of, but it's my industry.
Yeah.
So that's been painful. And that's been, a major setback with social media and fitness in general. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where would you love to see the fitness industry go?
Whew. I mean, I think one of the biggest things for me is I want it to truly be like a healthy industry.
Yeah.
I want it to truly be about what we're saying it's about. I want us to truly care about people's health. And that means like from the inside, not the outside. We really don't care about, as an industry, we don't care about people's health because all we're pushing is an image that we're telling them they should achieve that they're never going to achieve. And if they achieve it, they're most likely not healthy anyways. So for me, the evolution of this industry would be to really start to wrap ourselves around the fact that we have so much power in people's lives. And I say this all the time as trainers, like when is it and who else gets an hour of somebody's time that's solely focused on them, where you have so much power in that hour as a trainer? It's scary. Like, what are you doing? Are you helping that person feel better about themselves and more empowered? Or are you pushing, some shit message that isn't true and making them feel even more like shit? Like, how are you owning that power or are you abusing that power? And that's something for me that I feel like that message as trainers and really the call to action to step up to the plate. And I say this a lot, and not to like kind of bring, politics in our world into it, but we are in a deep, dark space right now. And I think it is vitally important that those of us that have chose to be in this industry, in the industry of health, that we are doing all that we possibly can to really help people get healthy, because the change that needs to happen in this world is only going to change if each individual person can become a healthier version of themselves, And so I hope that trainers start to take that more seriously and to take that on. And, it's one of the big things that I'm going to be pushing for and fighting for and being loud about, but we'll see.
Yeah. That's real, though. There is so much responsibility, I think, that comes with being in a part of this industry, because when you're working with people on these subjects, it's so sensitive, and there's so many factors to it that I think a lot of people, even myself included, when I worked in fitness, didn't fully understand that responsibility and the weight of it.
Yeah. I mean, you're literally in this space. We work with people at their most vulnerable.
Yeah.
They come to us most of the time they're coming from a negative space, a space that they want to come to, like they want to change something about themselves. They don't like where they're at in life, whatever it is, it's always a low spot. And I think that if we take that and we abuse that, like a lot of the industry does, it creates more unhealthy, unhappy human beings. And I don't think, I mean, look at the numbers. Or the health and fitness and wellness industry has never been bigger, has never made more money. And just take the US, we've never been more unhealthy. I mean, what does that say about us?
Yeah.
So as an industry, we can completely talk shit about the food and everything else and not take that as a part of our issue and try to divert that, or we can take ownership of that. And we can say, as those of us that have chosen to be the leaders in this space, like, it's our job to do our damn job and step up to the plate. And maybe what we're talking about and what we're pushing isn't really working right now.
Yeah.
And something needs to change.
I would also love to talk a little bit about working in fitness, also taking care of yourself in that space and taking care of yourself for trainers who are in that position, maybe very well-intentioned, but feel a lot of pressure to also take that on for other people while also feeling like they need to be the picture of health themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Have you felt that way?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, it's a super intense industry to be in.
Yeah.
As with any industry that you're working, you know, with people that closely and one-on-one, you are constantly taking on their baggage, you know, when you end up being, as a trainer, you end up being everything to them, you know. Most importantly, you actually become their therapist and not their trainer. And so you're listening to everything that's going on, you know, within their lives and their days. And if you don't have the tools to know where their baggage ends and your life begins, it can be a detrimental, you know, position to be in. And honestly, truthfully, for me, I got to the point within the industry where I couldn't separate that. And I, you know, it was one of the main reasons why I started to realize, like, this isn't, I still want to be in movement, but there's something more that I need to be doing and something less that I need to be doing. And for me, it was less of the one-on-one. I just wasn't set up to handle that. And it was more following my dream and my desire of what it meant to be going on and moving on in wellness, which was social media and everything else. But for me, I think it's really, really difficult to be in this industry. And I think that taking care of yourself, like truly taking care of yourself, not making sure that you look the look, you know, and you look the part, but actually taking care of yourself is important. Otherwise you won't make it.
Yeah.
I mean, most trainers don't make it and don't last long in this industry because of that.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big part of moving forward, a lot of your work, right, and training future trainers or training current trainers is to help them kind of avoid that.
Yeah. And I also think the thing is, at some point in time, you have to have a passion for helping people and caring about people. And if you're in the industry and you don't care about people, then what the hell are you doing here? And I feel like at that point in time, you know, then you don't belong here anyways. And I think that's one of the things that being in this space, and again, having so much power, like, you better be coming from the right spot.
Totally.
And for me, one of the main kind of reasons of wanting to do the train the trainer was not just to give people education, but more like a call to action to start asking, you know, this industry to really step up to the plate. Because at this point in time, you know, if you're here to make an extra buck, or, you know, because it's quote unquote an easy space to be in, then I really don't think that you belong.
And I think for a lot of people, I definitely felt this way. A personal love of fitness does not necessarily mean that you need a career in fitness. And I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up.
Yeah.
Is they have their own journey, they fall in love with it, and they think, well, I'll just help other people do this. And for some people, like, that can be super great. And for some people, myself, you can learn the hard way that that doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. But then, and if you're there and you learned that and you went through that, and when the time was right that you needed to exit, you exit, like, so be it. I'm never going to discourage anybody from being in this industry. But I think at the end of the day, almost in some sense, I think the industry will burn you out if you're not in here for the right reason. But one of the other things too is, like, this is such an intense industry to be in because it's so big.
Yep.
And so I always say, like, to young trainers that are coming in, one of my biggest things is, be fearless in your pursuit of figuring out what your passion is within this industry. Don't feel like you have to do and like everything.
Yep.
Pick those things that you feel, fueled by and that give you more energy, and pick the things that make you feel good. When you're standing there helping other people, like what puts you in the best light so then you can give that light to them. And I think that's the thing in this industry that, it's so intense because we have to be a strength coach. We have to be able to coach elder population athletes. Like we have to be a dietitian. Like there's so many things the industry is quote unquote requiring of you. And at the end of the day, like you're not going to be able to do it. So what is that thing that fuels you? And if at some point in time you realize that it's not training people, I would hope that you would, kindly walk yourself out of the industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice.
Yeah.
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 Thank you for this. I feel like this was just like a really insightful conversation about something really important.
It is important. And it's also like, it's important for me not to like talk negatively about the thing that I'm in and the thing that like honestly changes so many people's lives. And that's where it's like, it's a touchy conversation because I have so much love for this industry and for everybody that's in it and for, what it's doing. But I also feel like at this point in time, there's a lot of power that's being misused. And I think that it needs to be redirected. And I think that at this point in time, I can no longer sit back and be quiet while I'm watching something happen that I am a part of.
Absolutely.
And not do the things that I see need to be done. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, as always.
Every time.
I appreciate you. And to the team, I so appreciate you all again for tuning in. Thank you.